Howdy, I had to check and make sure I actually hit the mute button off so you can hear me. I don't know why I just told you that, but I did. This is the last of the episodes over a 2-week span where we have been admitting that we live in an angry, anxious world, but we don't want to be angry. We don't want to be anxious. As believers, we want to be filled with the peace of God and the goodness of God, regardless of the circumstances that we're in. Today, we're in Philippians chapter 4, verse 9. This is the last part of an incredible passage that the Apostle Paul writes from prison while facing his own death. And so if it works for the peace of God for him, we're hopeful that it'll work for us as well. We can actually be confident that it can. Philippians chapter 4, verse 9 says, "What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you." So over the course of this week, this is going to be the fifth element of 5 things that we've pulled out of Philippians 4 through 9 that can help you live calm and in the peace of God in an angry, anxious world. First off, we said celebrate God's goodness. We said be kind and be calm. You can trade your worry for prayer. Train your thinking because your feelings follow focus. And then today, I want to encourage you to follow faithful footsteps. Paul says, what you've learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. So at some point, it has to go from mindset to action. And what Paul is encouraging those who knew him, you saw what I did, you saw how I believed, I want you to put that into action. And so what I'm encouraging to you, as you look around you, as you think of people who've been walking with Jesus, people who have great parts of their life, great elements of their life and their faith that you admire, start doing the things that they do. If you want to be like that person, you have to kind of do the things that they do. What are their habits? What are their practices? Now, I have just finished in the last little bit getting to be a part of this really cool basketball camp put on by Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And in the camp, they're working on ball handling, they're working on shooting, working on all kinds of different drills to help people be better at basketball. And, you know, in the process of talking to these young people and teenagers who are at this basketball camp, many of them want to be like an NBA hero that they have. They want to shoot like Steph Curry. So let me just use that one as a good example. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA. The guy is incredible and can shoot from anywhere. And one of the things that the coach told us is that every day that Steph Curry comes out on the court, he starts not by shooting half-court shots, not by shooting three-pointers, but right in front of the basket and shooting the same practice, 5 shots there, and then he moves back, and 5 more shots from 5 feet out, and then 5 more shots from 5 feet out. And he was basically saying, if you have any desire to shoot like Steph Curry, you don't start with shooting three-pointers or half-court shots. You should do what Steph Curry does. You should start right in front of the basket and get your form down. And in the same way, if you have people in your life that you say, man, I admire their walk with Jesus, I want to have the same spirit as them, I want to have the same reactions as they have, find out about their walk and practice their walk. When do they get up in the morning? When do they spend time with Jesus? Where do they serve? Can you be involved? Can you say, hey, can I serve with you? Can I join you in your small group? Can I help you as you do this thing? Can I help you make dinner at your house because I just want to spend time around you? If you want to be like people who you admire their faith, then you need to follow in their footsteps. Try to spend time with them. Try to practice what they practice. Now, you're going to practice imperfectly. You're going to mess it up, but everybody does. That's why we call it practice. And actually, our whole faith is a practice of following Jesus. We're not going to master following Jesus on this earth. We're going to continue to practice. But if you want to lower your anxiety, you want to lower your worry, at some point, you have to go from just simple mental thinking, even though that's important. Your prayer life is important. Your celebration is important. But you have to start putting feet to your faith. You have to start putting action to the things that you believe. And the best thing to do is look at the examples of the people whose faith you admire and follow in their footsteps. You want to lower your anger. You can't just sit around. You got to do something. You want to lower your anxiety. You can't just sit and stew. you have to do something. So as you celebrate God's goodness, be kind and calm, as you trade worry for prayer, as you train your thinking, last thing that you want to work on is follow faithful footsteps. Find people who are faithful to Jesus, spend time with them, and start to do the things that they do, and you'll grow in your faith, and you'll lower your worry and anxiety. And that is my prayer for you. Thanks for listening to these last couple of weeks. Lot that we talked about. We're going to continue to live in an angry world, probably an angrier world as time goes on, but we can be people of peace in an angrier world, and that's my prayer for you. Have a great weekend.